Hi, welcome to the Knitter Studio. My name's Renee and I opened this yarn shop a little over a year ago here in Bellevue, Washington. And this is just our weekly catch up, see what's been going on around the studio. I hope you've been having a good week. This is our first full week of school, so it's fun to get into a new routine at home. And I'm realizing I have a little extra time in my day because I don't have to drive my son to and home from school because he's taking the bus now. But I will kind of miss our little chats in the car. So let's see, this week I have finished, this is the Sunday cardigan by PetiteKnit. We're going to be doing a fun casual knit along, PetiteKnit casual knit along Friday afternoon, 3 to 5, starting September 19th. So join us. I have made both the Sunday cardigan, like this, and the novice sweater. So it's casual, so I've done both of these. If you were to have questions about either one of these projects, I have personal experience, but if there was another PetiteKnit you want to do, that's totally fine. The novice sweater has been really popular, and I made it out of the Illimani Amelie yarn, which is so nice because you don't have to carry two yarns together. You don't have to do like a DK with a mohair. It's just one yarn. It's the perfect gauge, and you still get that really soft. This is a very light, fluffy yarn. I have lots of great colors here at the studio. I have more colors than this. I just grabbed a handful of ones here. And the Sunday cardigan I also made out of an Illimani, the Santee Tweed. Santee 2. Sorry, it's not a tweed. We have lots of great colors. There's more colors than this too. And it comes in this great chainette construction. So even though it's a bulky yarn, it's still lightweight. Both of these are fun, easy patterns. They go pretty quick. That way I didn't want to have anything, since we're all going to be chit-chatting and have a good time, you don't want to have something you have to concentrate too much on. I did make a couple changes to the Sunday cardigan. One is that she doesn't have you do buttonholes as you go, but she has you like sew open a buttonhole after, but I wanted to make a buttonhole, like a more real buttonhole as I was knitting. The one thing I wish I would have done is I did a buttonhole every 14 rows, but I wish I would have done every 16 rows just to spread it out, and then this one would have ended up a little bit more in the middle. But I do have to share, I love these buttons. They're kind of the perfect button for the sweater. I love when that happens. Since a lot of people maybe haven't done a 1-row buttonhole, which is my favorite one to do, I thought I would give you a little tutorial, show you how I make those buttonholes. Okay, so for a 1-row buttonhole, what you do is you're going to be on the right side of your work. You're going to knit to where you want your buttonhole to be. I'm going to do a 3-stitch buttonhole. You can vary depending on how big or small your buttons are. I always kind of just line the button up with my stitches, and then that way if you can see generally about how wide the space is how many stitches you want to do for your button. So for example, these buttons, that I was using are right about 3 stitches wide. You want to have it a little bit smaller than the button, so this might be almost 4, but you want the buttonhole to be a little bit snugger than the button, so this button is perfect for a 3-stitch buttonhole. So you go to the spot where you want to make your buttonhole. You bring the yarn forward. You slip a stitch. Bring the yarn back. Slip a stitch. Then, almost like you're casting off, I'm going to pick up this first stitch we slipped and carry it off and over the needle. So that was 1 stitch bound off. We're going to slip 1 more, pick this, take it off. That's 2. Slip 1 more, pick this up, take it off. So now it's like we have cast off almost 3 stitches. Then we have to add these stitches back in because now we have this big gap. So to do that, we're going to slip this stitch over to the left needle. We're going to turn our work. So my yarn is back down by where we started. And you're going to do, this is called a cable cast on. It's where you bring your needle through the stitch in front and the stitch behind, the first and second stitch on the needle. So you're going all the way through like this. You're not going into the stitch, you're actually going between the stitches with your needle. And then you're going to knit that and draw a loop through and put that on the needle. So now we put 1 stitch back. Each time you do the same thing, you're going to go in between the first and second stitch with your needle, knit, you should draw a loop through and place it back onto the needle. So now we've put on 2 stitches. We're going to put on 3 stitches, and we're going to do 1 extra stitch. So we've put on 3, we took off 3. I'm going to do 1 more. So now we have cable cast on 4 stitches for a 3-stitch buttonhole. We're going to turn the work back around again. You're going to bring your yarn back to the front. This is to close the buttonhole because now we have taken these stitches off. We put these stitches back on, but now we need to close this gap. So we're going to bring the yarn to the front. We're going to slip a stitch, yarn to the back, and this is where the extra stitch we put on, we're going to cast it off or bind it off right there. And now we've closed the buttonhole. I'll knit a couple stitches to get away from this spot so you can see. This is my favorite buttonhole. It has a nice, it's nice and sturdy. It has a nice clean finish around the edges. So if you want to do your buttonholes as you're making the Sunday cardigan, you can do this, and then I was thinking they'd be better every 16 rows. So knit then 15 rows after that, and then the 16th row on the right side will be your next buttonhole. Okay, so the other change that I wish I would have done is on the collar. I put a buttonhole here, but then I realized it didn't look very good to have a button here. So if you make this, I would say don't bother with a buttonhole here. And then if you're going to do every 16 stitches, you could start this one up a little bit higher. Every 16 rows to do your buttonholes. I think this one you could start a little bit higher. And also she has you do where you, this collar is double. So she has you knit the whole thing, and then when you're done, fold it in and sew it down. And I wish I would have instead done right when I finished the collar, where you knit 2 together between the cast on row and the stitches on your needle to close it that way. Then you wouldn't have to sew it after. And but that's the only other change I would maybe recommend if you were going to be making it. So anyway, join us. That will be fun. The other thing I finished this week is I got the Christmas stocking tech edited and back from my tech editor. So these are officially published. You can find them on my Ravelry page, The Knitter Studio. Eventually I'll also put it up on our website so you could get a link to get the patterns there. And we are having a class, if you'd like, starting October 4th on a Saturday afternoon. And you can either do, this is my own design here. The stocking's my design, but for the color work, you can also use doodle decks. I have the correct amount of stitch numbers here. So if you wanted instead to do doodle decks and customize your stocking, I don't know if you've seen doodle decks before, but there's all sorts of different fun themed ones. I think the woodland one would be fun. There's the winter doodle deck, and there is a holiday doodle deck. So you could mix and match whatever designs you want in your stocking using those too, which is lots of fun. Or if you like my Christmas flower here design, you could do that. So you can go ahead and look for that pattern. And I think stockings are such a fun project. I don't knit socks, but these are kind of just a giant sock and you only have to make one. And I think it's really fun every year to pull these out and hang them on the mantle, and the kids love them. I've made them for all of the kids and dogs in our family. So let's see. The other thing I was knitting this week, now I am so excited because I have finally, well, I shouldn't say finally, I had all these other knitting projects kind of in the line, and I have been neglecting, I also like to make knit artwork, and I have been neglecting this piece. I'll show you. So I've started it. Let's see if I can show you over here. Okay. So I've started this piece, and then I have been, take you on a little tour here, busy doing those samples for earth yarns and knitting the Christmas stockings, and then I was knitting these petite knit things. So, but now I am going to focus back onto the art piece. So this week I have knit this full long mohair, silken mohair piece, which is going to be one of the elements for up there. So I have quite a few more of these to do, but I am excited to be back working on that piece of artwork. So maybe I'll give you a little every week. I can show you as this continues to develop. But you know, knit artwork, if you want, you can see more of my pieces. I have a link on the website, the Knitter Studio website, for studio knits. You can also go to my website for my artwork is Renee Studio Knits. Since opening the shop, I haven't been making as much artwork because I've been working on samples for the store, but I'm hoping to still be able to balance doing the two. So let's see, the other fun thing that we did last weekend, this isn't knitting related, but I just thought I would share with you. Last weekend we made, I don't know if you've ever heard of these. We call them dilly beans. So my husband's grandparents, they have passed away now, but they had a farm outside of Eugene, Oregon. And I had never heard of these. I think it might be kind of a regional thing down in Oregon. But what they are is they're pickled, spicy green beans. And so we have been carrying on the tradition. Every year we make as big of a batch of these as we can. And they're a little bit, because you have to kind of gather all of the ingredients and then do all the canning. So you have to set aside a whole day to do that. But it's really fun. And so it's fun that we have continued with the kids. We usually buy about 20 pounds of green beans, and we have found you have to go to the farmer's market or grow the beans yourself, because when we tried to use not fresh beans, something in the grocery store, I don't know if they treat them or what, but they don't work as good. So you have to go to the farmer's market and you have to find fresh green beans. We always look for the best ones that are not too big, not too small, nice and straight. And then you also have to get dill flour, which is sometimes the hardest part to find because a lot of people don't have that. So that's like, if you were to let a dill plant continue to grow, it makes like a big yellow flower on top. And the dill flower, oh, I think you can see it down here. The dill flower is one of the special flavor ingredients that you just can't get. You can't put just dill in here. It's not going to taste the same. It's like you need that pollen from the dill flower. And you can see we have chili peppers in there. We put garlic in here. We actually grew this garlic in our garden this year, which is fun. And there's also mustard seeds and cayenne pepper. And we always, before you open a jar, you always shake it so you get the nice spicy chili flakes all over. What's funny is we can these, but they're not ready until we say Christmas, because they need to kind of sit in this brine for at least 4 months, and that's when then they get their really good flavor. So anyway, I just wanted to share with you a little fun project we did over the weekend to do our jelly beans. So I think that's it for this week. I hope you have a great week. If you have any comments or questions, you can put them in the comment section here. I will try to put in the link to these patterns and the information for the Christmas stocking patterns below, so you can find those. Thanks so much and have a fun week. Bye.